What about pruning and maintenance during the season if you're growing them in containers?
I think the pruning and maintenance during the season, people can deadhead. So here, David, we have some little seed heads are starting to develop, and I think they're really quite nice and quite attractive. So I usually
Some
leave.
are really beautiful.
Yeah, and I very often will leave maybe 50%, so half the seed heads I leave on, but then I trim the others back, because then you can get new growth like this. This is one it's been trimmed back, and already it's starting to produce its new growth. So trimming, just keeping them tidy during the growing season. During the heat of the summer, obviously they're going to get a little bit stressed with the heat, but that's fine. As soon as the weather cools down, they'll come back into growth again. So taking those dead flowers off are really quite important. So watering, feeding, and a little bit of deadheading.
I was going to say, now in the middle of the summer, do you think you would do any light pruning, or do they generally not need any?
Well, I think if the gardener or the consumer really has time, but quite honestly, what we do, we trim our plants after they've done the first flush of flowers and they don't look like they're going to flower much more. When certainly, David, you can trim them down to about 9 inches. So go right down to 9 inches, make sure the plants are kept fed and well watered, and then at that point I would use a tomato feed or rose feed at the normal strength.
Okay.
You get them back into growth, and then for the fall, then you have a beautiful plant just looking like this again.
Now, what about overwintering? Because we're in a cold climate here. These pots are going to freeze hard if they're left outside, and I think with clematis roots that are fleshy, that could be a problem. Huh?
Definitely, you're absolutely right, David. And so the important thing is, as you get to the end of fall, as the temperatures start really dropping, you get the first frost. Then take the whole container into a garage or an outbuilding or something like that, where it's reasonably frost-free. The container won't need really much watering during the winter. Keep the soil moist, that's very important, but not wet, and let it go into its normal dormancy. As you get to the end of winter, then people can start to bring the plants out, maybe to a sheltered area, get them slowly into growth. But at that point, very important that the plants are kept well watered. You'll see the little buds starting to go green, and at that point again you can trim the plant. So wait until the spring, trim it down 6, maybe 9 inches at the maximum. I call it the ponytail cut, and up they'll come and grow away, and then again you keep that regular feeding going at really half strength as they come up into flower.
Now, what do you think of our grand finale here?
David, I think you've done an exceptionally fantastic job here, and I love your color combination, and that color blending is absolutely perfect with this Clematis Amethyst Beauty. And what is this Heuchera, David?
This is Heuchera Sugar Plum. It's a very nice one. I like the silvery and yet the purplish effect that it has with it.
So really superb combination of colours, and here, David, certainly you've been bold, very creative, and as well as looking really fantastic, it is doing what we think is required, the shading of the root system of the clematis, and you see the clematis is draping down here. No, I think that's absolutely, that's my word, that's sumptuous, David. And I think this is also your combination here with this lovely golden foliage just drooping over the edge of the container, and these lovely flowers of Clematis General Sikorsky. And I certainly would recommend that people to stop and just to think about combining clematis with other plants, and they look superb here in pots, because not only are the other plant materials shading the root system of the clematis, which is of course what we want and what we recommend, but it really is such a complement to the foliage of the Heuchera and the colour of the clematis. So really, David, congratulations, an outstanding combination. It really does look fantastic.